tell you a little bit about Southern Plus because you may or may not have any experience with Southern Plus. But the categories that you see on the screen right now are the categories of products that we bring to market to the Ad Specialty channel. Many of you may have had experience with us in one specific category, like a bag or an umbrella, and therefore you might think of us in terms of the bag supplier or the umbrella supplier. But what I urge you to do is to think of us in terms of an outdoor, recreational, and leisure company. And I think that's important for a number of reasons. First and foremost, there's not one customer that you could ever deal with or person that you could sell product to that doesn't promote to people that enjoy doing things outdoors, recreationally, and in their leisure. And I think when you put a logo on an item that supports somebody's passion, and most of us have our passions outside of work, the connection between that logo and that device is, or that product is undeniable. So I think more than anything, it opens up the universe of opportunity for Southern Plus and for you, because I believe that our products are suitable for almost every situation and scenario that you'll get involved with. Now, that said, we're never going to be a drinkware or pen supplier, so I know we can't be all things for you, but I think you'll find us to be a very hear a little background noise there, but I think you'll find us to be a pretty universal product line with universal appeal, at least. So that being said, let's tell you about some of the reasons why I think you should do business with Southern Plus. First and foremost, we've been in business over 50 years, and believe it or not, there's less than 2 handfuls of suppliers in this entire industry that can make that claim. So it puts us in kind of an elite category. But what it really means is, hopefully, that we've been doing it long enough that I think we're very good at what we do. And that is usually measured by customer service awards, and we are A+ and 5-star rated. We always have been, and we always will be. We work very hard at that so that you will look good to your customer. That's our low watermark, so we don't intend to ever drop below that. We do very low minimums, which means we can help you source those problem orders that you can't find a source or resource for elsewhere. Most of our products are 24, 36, or 50-piece minimums, which I think you'll find to be more than adequate for those types of opportunities. We have very competitive pricing, and I know that pricing is always going to be a factor in this industry. However, hopefully that's not how you go to market. I don't believe we're certainly not in that race to the bottom that a lot of people are in, a lot of suppliers are in. I don't think that's a healthy or sustainable model, and I don't think that's the type of vendor that you're looking for a long-term partnership with. But that being said, I don't manage the sales prevention department. I manage the sales department. So if there's opportunities that if we could meet or beat a price, or you say, hey, if you could just sharpen your pencil a little bit on this one, I think we can make it happen, I will tell you 9 out of 10 times I'll take that journey with you. So I'd like for you to get in the habit of buying from Southern Plus. We want to be the easiest supplier that you deal with. We have very fast turnaround times. We publish 5 to 7 days, but we rarely take that long. It really depends on what's going on in the facility at the time. But we do have 19 items that are on next day ship or 24-hour turn if that's needed. So if you have a customer situation, which happens a lot, where they don't give you enough lead time, and you've got to close that gap or you got to get it to them in a couple of days, those are the items that you ought to focus in on our website, and I'll show you how to find those. We stand behind our quality. I don't think you'll find better quality anywhere in the industry for our price point. I think your customers will love it. I know you'll be satisfied with it. We do color better than anybody, so not only do we have a lot of colors in our line, but we have a lot of items in those colors, and that's important when you're doing program business, e-stores, and continuity type gifting. And then lastly, we've spent a good bit of time putting together some tools on our website and building a web technology that I think is second to none. In fact, we won Best Website in the industry, and we're doing some things online that, as Bill said, could be a real game changer for you. And that's where I want to spend the majority of this webinar, showing you how you can maximize your return on time. It's my belief that time is your most valuable commodity, and it's the thing that's squandered the most in this industry. I think you'll say that the ball and chain around most of your ankles is that it's, well, really preventing you from earning the kind of money you'd really like to, is all of the back-end work, detail work, what I like to call the administrative minutia that goes along with doing business in this industry. You can go out and see a customer and visit with them and get some requests for ideas or quotes or samples, and then you can go back in the proverbial cave and begin working, and you can be buried there for a day, 2 days, 3 days, depending upon the scope of the project, and come out to reveal things to your customer. And at the end of that, you might actually get zero out of that. And then you have to ask yourself, well, how many times can I spend that many hours on presenting ideas and come up empty? Or you might come up with very few results from that. But so I'd like to show you a way where you can, when you're in that cave, you can do some things in a fraction of the time that it takes you today. My goal is to help you empty your inbox in minutes rather than in hours or days. And if I can do that, I think it's a whole lot more impactful to your business than the products that I sell. So that's where I want to focus. So I'm going to jump over to our website. If you've not been there before, it looks like this. It's intentionally simple. You're going to see banners going by, and that again is by design. We know we have 5 to 8 seconds every time you land on our website to show you something that you didn't know Southern Plus did, or to connect the dots between something you might be working on with a customer and something that we're offering. So that's going to always be there. Down here at the bottom, if you wanted to just focus on what's new from Southern Plus, all of the items that we added for 2015, which happens to be 29 new items, you could click there and it would open up just those items. The ones that I mentioned that you could get turned in 24 hours, the next day ship items, are all here. And then we always have a product of the month that we feature in the lower right-hand corner. And this month it's called our Coral Lattice Tote. So there's always something kind of off-priced or that we're featuring there, and it changes every month. So keep your eye out for that. But up here at the top is where the meat and potatoes of our website really are. And that's where I'm going to spend the rest of our webinar going through some of these items. First and foremost, I want to go to the center one, which is called Catalogo. If you click on Catalogo, it'll open a digital page flip version of our paper catalog, which I'm sure you've seen this type of technology before. And whether you turn the page manually or whether you use the nav buttons here on the bottom, you know how to interact with that. What you may not have seen before is up here at the top, you can click on Upload Logo. And you can go and browse for any graphic formatted logo that you can find on your hard drive. In that case, that could be a EPS, an AI, a JPEG, a PNG, a PDF if it's saved properly, GIF, TIFF, bitmap, it doesn't matter. In this case, I'm going to grab this JPEG file, I'm going to upload it, and then I'm going to say done. And in that amount of time, that logo is now on every single item inside of our catalog, and now I can email this to my client or prospect. So I want you to think about that for just a moment. To me, this is one of the most valuable things I can put in your hands, and it's a perfect activity you can do on, say, a Monday morning when you're sitting there at your computer screen, drinking a cup of coffee, thinking, how am I going to make money this week? You could literally send out 10 of these catalogs in the amount of time it takes you to drink that cup of coffee. And I will tell you that it's going to create an unbelievable amount of response for you. Your customers will absolutely love it because they've never seen it before, and more importantly, you will be the one who has delivered that to them. But it's also one of the best prospecting tools I can put in your hands. So not only can you wow the customers that you currently have and get them to start talking projects with you, but you can also get in the door of those accounts that you haven't been able to get into successfully in the past. I'm sure many of you have called on end user accounts before, and they've said, you know what, I'm dealing with Sue Ellen here, and she does a great job for me, and she's been working with us for 15 years. And it's the old, if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. So you figure, well, if Sue Ellen isn't hit by a bus, I don't have a chance in this account, so you move on. But those are the types of accounts that if you send them a catalog like this, suddenly you've got their attention. They're going to say, you know, we love Sue Ellen, but she's not doing things like this for us. Maybe we ought to be casting with a broader net. Why don't you come in and show us what other things that you can do for us? So it's a really powerful tool to get some people's attention that would not give you the time of day before that. So let me show you what this looks like, because the first time you do this, you're going to forget it. But when you open the page, your first thought is, okay, well, why isn't the logo on all of these items? And I'll tell you, it's for a couple of reasons. We could have put the logo on every single item. However, I can't upload a partial logo, which is what I'd have to do to show it on this red item, for instance. And if that's the color that the person that's looking at the catalog really wanted to see, that would probably become more of a frustration than anything. And throughout the catalog, there's a number of items that either partially or completely block the imprint space on some of the colors. So we thought that would not be very effective. More importantly, if I just covered these with, in this case, the Dasani logo, which is the one I uploaded, somebody that received this would just turn a few pages and see that it's basically a Dasani product catalog, and then they put it away and say, I'd get to it later. So the key to success here is we've made it interactive. So what you do is you tell them to go click on an item that they find interesting. So let's just say they see this item and they like the look of this. When they click on the item, it opens it in a much more user-friendly way, I believe, in a way that you'd want to present a product if you were standing in front of them. The good thing here is they can look at that and say, well, that's great, but I would never buy a yellow bag. That's not the one I'm interested in. But they can look at every single color that every single item that we offer is in. So they can then go, well, this would be the better color of that particular bag. And they may say, ooh, that looks really good. Then they have the ability to say, well, what other way could I decorate it? And under imprint technique, there's a lot of different ways. Every single product that they will bring up on the screen will have a unique and separate palette here of options depending upon the trim color of the product and the material and so forth. So in this case, if I uploaded a full color logo, they'd have the ability to click on full color and show the full color logo. In this case, I only uploaded a one color, but even if I had uploaded a full color logo, we automatically would default it to a one color option because that's what we build into the cost of our products. So we want them to see it the way they would typically get it, the way they would see that price. However, if you upload a full color logo, it gives them the ability to look at it in that way. If you take a full color logo and drop it on every single item as a full color logo, much of the logo would disappear on certain things as the background color of the product might match portions of that logo. So the idea is to give them the ability to pick and choose the items that they want to see the full color logo on and the ones that would make the most sense. So in that case, they could, however, say, well, you know what, there's other trim color on that bag. Why don't we try to match that blue on the blue bag? And they could go through and when you hover over it, it tells you what each one of these are. You can click on the Royal imprint, for instance, and the imprint updates to a blue instead of a black. And that may be what they prefer. So they could say, I love this. I love that particular imprint. I love that particular imprint color on this bag. And they can click on Save Send, and it'll create an email to you. If you've sent them this catalog, it'll fill in your information here. And then they'll put in who it's from, obviously, and call it whatever they want. And it'll attach that image exactly as you see it so that they can say, I love this product for the project we've been discussing, exactly as you see it here. Please order me a sample so I can touch and feel it before I make a final decision. Or they may just say, this is it. I love it, just like you see it here. Here's my PO number. I need 500 of these by July 6th, and you're done. So it's a new way to interact with a customer that I think both you and they will love very much. One, because it takes some of the minutia away by letting them manipulate the logos in the product and do some shopping without you having to do it. And two, it gives them truly a way. Well, let me put it this way. The testimonials that we're hearing from end users through their distributors are, I can play on this all day. And you know as well as I do, if you deliver a product or a tool, if you will, that your customer can play on all day, I can promise you it's going to have an amazing impact on them. Many times you'll see a transfer happen, that they fall in love with a particular product, the way it looks, and they'll come back to you, and instead of asking you to help them find products, they'll say, I love this product, help me decide the best way to use it. And that's also a pretty neat shift in thinking from your customer to yourself. So let me bounce back now, because all you do is close this tab and you can come back to this. Typically what happens when you send it to somebody, they click on an item and see their logo and they think it might be a mistake, or did we buy this from them before, or they're a little confused. They'll go click on a second item. It doesn't really matter what. They might go further back in the catalog and see it. And typically by the third item they realize their logo's on every single item, and that's where they pick up the phone and call you and say, okay, this is cool. How the heck did you do this? And by the way, I was looking at some products while I flipped through this, and I made me realize I have a Relay for Life event coming up or something like that. Let's talk about it. So it can truly stimulate some real opportunities for you. And if the worst thing that happens is they think you're on the cutting edge of technology, I don't think that's a bad thing. But let me tell you always want to come back to the cover before you send it. If you send it open, they'll receive it open, and it's kind of like coming in the middle of a movie. It's a little bit awkward. So I would encourage you to come back to the cover. It also gives them a quick glimpse of their logo. They won't really know what it's there for unless they read the details here. But the important thing here is now you want to send it to your customer or your prospect. You click on Email VCAT. So there's only 2 buttons on this entire screen other than the navigation buttons. Upload logo, which we did, and then email, and that's all you have to do. That's where you say it's from me to you, whoever you're sending it to. Call it whatever you like, but this message is really, really critical, and I want you to take careful notice of what I'm about to say. To me, this will make or break the success of this catalog when you send it to somebody. You really want to get the language right in this message. First of all, you're sending a link and not a file. And when people receive links, they often get a little bit squeamish, not sure what to do or where it's going to take them. But I would encourage you to craft a maybe even 2 different messages, one for a customer and one for a prospect. But let me give you an example of something that's been kind of proven and tested, and you might use something like this and spin it however you like. But you could say, we found a catalog full of fun and exciting things, and I immediately thought of you. If this is a customer that you know well and you've dealt with for many years, that's a great thing to say to them. It's kind of an offhanded compliment saying not only am I thinking of you, but I think you're fun and exciting. Now that you've buttered them up and they're feeling good about themselves and you can say, go click on the link. It'll open a digital catalog, and then click on any item that you find interesting, and you might put in parentheses, and you'll find a lot of them. And then you can say, to see the magic happen, or you can say, or for an added surprise. If you use language like that, I can assure you that no matter how busy the person that you sent this to is, they're going to stop what they're doing, because who can't resist or who can resist a surprise or magic, if you will. If you just told them, go click on an item to see your logo, they're going to say, I see my logo all day, every day. I don't have time for that right now. I'll get to it later, and they may never get to it. Or if they do, they'll forget that they have to go click on an item. So the idea here is you want to get them to do something right away. So come up with a phrase like that works for you. You can even copy and paste it in there to make it quicker to get these out to your customers. If it's somebody that you don't know well, a prospect, you obviously don't want to say fun and exciting and I immediately thought of you. That would be a little bit strange. What you could say is I immediately thought of, and fill in the company name or fill in the brand name or something, which also might make some sense. So that's just my tip and advice on how to maximize the success of this. Once you've done that, you just say done, and it sends it and it's gone. It will also create a copy and send it to you, so you know when they get it and what it looks like when they receive it. So that's the one-click catalog. Again, it's the perfect way to shake the trees and get some low-hanging fruit to fall. And I'll give you a personal challenge. If each one of you would send out 10 of these each week for 4 weeks, I will personally guarantee you that you will never have more projects in your sales funnel in your career. And I offer that up as a challenge. I dare you to prove me wrong. I've yet to have anybody come back to me and say, yeah, this didn't work for me at all. I can assure you that it will have some amazing results for you. But it'll be your it'll be your temptation, if you will, in the future when somebody mentions the word umbrella or bag or something, and you might think, oh, Southern Plus has products like that. Let me send them a catalog. In my opinion, that's not the time to do it. It's kind of like giving somebody a general response to a very specific need that they're thinking, and it's like handing them a paper catalog and saying, like, here, flip through this and see what you find and give me a call. To me, that doesn't differentiate you. So what I would recommend that you do is, if somebody mentions umbrella or bag or something specific, don't send the catalog. Come back to our homepage, and I'll bounce back there now. And there's a icon next to the one that we just went through, which is Catalogo, the one here called Virtue All. If you click on Virtue All, which is a trademark name that is a hybrid between turning all of our products virtual with one logo. So I'm going to go browse for any graphic formatted logo again. I'll grab that same one just for continuity's sake. Click on Upload. There are some options there, which 95% of the time you'll just leave it as default, because you want us to make the decision on what the imprint color should be based on the color of the product that we're putting it on. But there might be some cases where you've got a unique logo that you need to do some things like I need to leave some of the white in the logo there and so forth. So you'll be able to play with that and fine tune and tweak that as needed. Or if you have any questions on that in the future, just reach out to Bill or myself, and we'll gladly help you with that. So anyway, we've uploaded a logo. It's on every single item anywhere you look on our website. And now it gets really interesting. Now we can go use our search bar, and this search bar is right here. Right now it's on product name or ID, and obviously if you knew the product name or ID, you can type it in there and actually start, it'll take you right to that product. Or you can search by category. You can search by color. You can search by price. We even have key features that you can search by. For instance, if a customer wanted to have a zippered bag presented to them, you can click on key feature, bags, and zippers, and every single item that we have as a zippered bag would come to the screen. Or you can search for a chair with 2 drink holders. Or you could search for a wooden handled umbrella. You could search by look. That if you have a bunch of construction guys that want something macho or rugged, you could do that. Secondly, you could search by size. Obviously, if somebody wants a 43-inch arc umbrella or they want an 8-inch fitted bag, size would be a factor. And then lastly, you could also search by FOB point. We actually are a Georgia-based company, and we ship 85% or so of our products out of Georgia. But we do have a subset of our product line called the Esprit Collection, which ships out of Southern California. So that might be a factor for you or your customer due to timing or freight costs and so forth. So that might be a way you want to search. But for right now, let me start with search by color. If I search by color, and in this case I uploaded the Dasani logo again. I've seen their logo. I know royal blue is the closest color to their corporate color. So I would click on royal blue if I'm looking for ideas for Dasani. And I click on the magnifying glass, and in just a matter of seconds, it's going to bring up every single item that we offer in royal blue. And in this case, that's 13 pages worth, or about 160 products. And I would ask you a rhetorical question. When was the last time you sent 160 virtual samples to a customer? And I'll answer it for myself. I'm going to guess you've probably never done it. But if you had, it probably would have taken you or somebody at least a week to prepare all of that. In this case, it now takes a couple of seconds. My question to you is, why wouldn't you do something like that? So if you had the inclination, and my suggestion is that you should send every single customer that you have a file this robust. Doesn't really matter which color it is. Our biggest colors are black, royal, and red. Those are the most popular colors in the country, if you will, for promotional products. So those are the ones you'd find the most in, but even a color like pink or a color like yellow, we'd have 50, 60, 70, anywhere from that up to 100 different items to choose from. Again, I mentioned that we do color better than anybody, and this is an example of that. So if you wanted to send every single one of these to a customer, all you have to do is come up here, and I know this is kind of small on your screen, but there's an icon above here that says email. You can click on that and just fill out this form, who it's to, who it's from, include all the different elements that you want to here by checking these check boxes, and I'll go through each of them in just a moment. And then you put in your message, and then you hit send, and it will actually create a PDF, attach it to your email automatically, and send it. But I'm going to show it to you in a different way. If you click on Create Flyer, it'll do virtually the same thing, but it does it more manually. It'll actually bring what we create to the screen, and it enables you to save it manually as a PDF and then attach it yourself. But I'm a visual person. I like to see something before I send it to make sure everything is exactly the way I want it to be presented. So in this case, you'd go to Create Flyer. You click on yes, I want to include pricing if you do, and I don't know why you wouldn't, but there might be cases where you don't want to include it. You don't have to include price codes. Once upon a time, we just had them built in, but more distributors said, you know, my customers know what those are. Let's not include those. So you have the ability to uncheck that and not show that. You also have the ability to include item number, obviously. You can include a hyperlink, which I'm a big fan of. If you don't know what a hyperlink is, it'll give you the ability when somebody has a question that you sent this to on any of the items that you presented. In this case, 160 items. They might have a question on a few of them. If they click on the image itself, it'll take them to a details page where they can get every single one of their questions answered without troubling you with it. So for instance, if they love this item, but they said, well, what other colors does that come in? Or what is the actual dimensions of that product? Or what's that material made out of? They could even ask, what would it cost to ship 400 of these to my zip code? By clicking on it, they can get all of those answers quickly off of the details page of that product, and I would encourage you to use that. Again, if I'm trying to free you up from administrative minutia, that's one of those items that could gobble up some time. If somebody called you and said, hey, I'm looking at page 5 of that presentation you gave me, and that 4th item on the page, I'd like to know what that dimension is. It could take you quite a while to find that answer, whether you're reaching out to us, going to our website. First, you got to find the file that you sent them. So again, I'm trying to make it simple and quick for you. And then lastly, you want to include your company information if you were going to send all these. And you put in, obviously, the name of your company, your name, phone number, email address, then click Save. And once you've done that, you never have to do it again. And then you click on Go, and it's going to create a file that looks like this. And I'll ask you, if you sent a file like this, would your recipient think you've spent a little bit of time on it? I'm going to scroll through it quickly so you can get an idea of what 160 virtual samples look like, but it's a pretty impressive array of product, and it looks like you've combed the globe for all these items and put it together. So they're going to think you spent a week on it, and that's a great perception for them to have. In fact, I will tell you that the reason that you should send this or every customer this is twofold. First and foremost, they will think that you spent a week on it, and when you're looking for a partner that will do extra work for you, that will make them feel good that, hey, you're willing to go the extra mile for them. They will have never received a file like this. Secondly, the guilt factor alone is probably going to result in some orders for you. They may say that, gosh, Bill must have spent a week on this, so I better place an order. He's going to kill me. So it's kind of a neat way to play the guilt card, if you will. It works very effectively. Also, just so you know, many of our items have 2 rows of pricing. First and foremost, if it has a C in the pricing or in the part number, it's a colored item. If it has an N or W in that, it is a natural or white item. And of course, we don't charge the same for undyed product as we do dyed product. So you'll know why that has 2 items there. But there's also a case where it might be on sale or off price, in which case we will, let me see if I can find one real quick. I know we have several. You may have seen it. We just basically will draw a line through the normal price and let them see that, and then show them what the promotional price is, which might help them move to a close. Here's an example of that. So the normal prices are here. If they buy 250 or more, here is the prices that they can get that at. So I think you might find that to also be beneficial and helpful in helping somebody make a buying decision. So that's if you sent every single one of those to a customer. But I also understand that, hey, at some point in time, they're going to say, look, I'm just really busy. I don't have time to go through 160 items. As impressive as it is, you don't need to go to all that work for me. I did give you some criteria. You know my business. I expect you to kind of whittle this down to a manageable few so I can make a final decision. And that's perfectly fine as well. So all you would do is come here, and you can uncheck every item that is on that we've brought to the screen, and you can say, okay, with my experience, they're going to want to see this one, they're going to want to see this one, they're going to want to see this one, and you can go through and check all of the items that you want to include in your presentation, excluding the ones you do not. But even with 13 pages or 160 products, that would take longer than I think you should spend on it. So my recommendation is to leave them all selected and then come here to this icon that says Refine Search. You could say, in this particular case, they did tell me that for this project that coolers would be a good idea, and then click on coolers. And they also gave me a budget of, say, $10 to $20. So with 2 clicks, it now will reduce from 160 to exactly 7 that you could send to your customer. And you can also say, well, you know what? I love the look of this one, but I don't think they're going to like that lime green, so I'm going to take that one out. And so now we're down to 6 items. I do see a problem, however. These 3 items here show a black imprint on a royal blue background, which is a natural selection or natural default imprint color because of all the black trim on these bags, and it looks perfectly great. The problem is Dasani's guidelines or branding guidelines say that you can't put my logo black on royal. So you would have to redo all these in a traditional sense to get them the right way. But in our case, all you have to do is go right below the thumbnail and say, no problem, I'll just change these over to white, or full color, or whatever would look better and would follow their branding guidelines. So now with just a couple more clicks and a few seconds, you're ready to send it. So I would ask you, again, a rhetorical question, but if I were to send you all, I'll say back to your desk. You're probably at your desk now, but if I were to say, okay, here's your project. I need you to find about 6 coolers in this price point, make them royal blue, and put this logo on every one of them. How long would that take you? Now, I don't know if I'm sure you've done this before. There's a lot of traditional ways to do that. Obviously, you could send it to somebody in an admin role that does that for you and not worry about it, but it does take a great bit of time, even with traditional tools like ESP and Sage and others, which don't always do a great job of it anyway. I think you'll find it would take an expert probably an hour to do. Um, More of the layman could be 2 hours to half a day. This is based on my questioning people like yourselves, and that's the response that we typically get. So I think all of you will agree that if even you were an expert at this and it would take you an hour, now it takes you less than a minute to prepare. Again, it's about that return on time. The question is what is your time truly worth? So there is another way. That obviously, everything that I just did was using this search engine, which is really powerful. You could have come up with the same 6 products starting in any order. You could have started with price, and then you could have refined your search to color, then you could have refined it to coolers. So it really doesn't matter what order you refine your search in or where you begin. You can come up with the same solutions. But there is another way that you might search on our website. And many times your customers will say, we're doing a sales meeting in a resort destination and I need ideas for that. Or we're putting on a golf tournament. What are your suggestions for giveaway items? Or we're doing a charity fundraiser or whatever. So there's a lot of different things that they could throw at you theme-wise or event-based. And then your options are many. But typically what you'll do is you'll decide which of your favorite suppliers would help you with these ideas and might have products that would satisfy that type of theme or event. And you'll send out emails to all of us and you'll sit and wait because many of us may be traveling. We may not be as responsive as you'd like, but you have to wait until we start sending you ideas. Then you got to roll them all up together in a format that you could present to your customer. So again, this is the kind of cave work that can bury you for days. Or you also could jump on something like ESP or Sage, and you can search. Say they're doing that sales meeting in a resort destination, you would search resort or beach, and you'll find pretty quickly that very few suppliers spend any time at all truly categorizing their products properly. So you might find in the first 20 or the first page of things that it returns to you that you're seeing items that have absolutely nothing to do with beach and resort, and you'll get frustrated and realize it's going to take a lot more time than you think. So what I recommend doing is coming up here to the upper right-hand corner of the Southern Plus website. There's a light bulb there. If you're looking for ideas, you come to the Idea Me section, saying, give me some ideas. Every way that you can use an outdoor recreational or leisure product that we can think of, we've come up with these little categories for. So if they wanted that beach resort theme, you could click on beach resort. Or say they're doing a golf tournament. If you just click on any one of these, it'll actually open a screen of all the golf items that we find are very useful or people use our products for. And in this case, it's in a random selection of colors because none have been specified yet, and that might be exactly the way you want to present it or exactly the way they want to see it because color's not a factor. But you also have the ability to say, well, but I don't want to show them a pink item. So you can go through and pick another color that item comes in right underneath the thumbnail, and it'll update the image to that color. Or you can say, no, they're the primary sponsor, and I need that to all be in their color, which is royal blue. So you can refine the search while you're in the golf section of all royal blue items. And now everything for golf in royal blue is on the screen. I can tweak a couple of logos as I showed you before as needed to get it exactly the way I want to see it. And again, you could be doing all of this while they're on the phone with you and literally say, I just sent you a file, take a look at that, and that'll get you started. I'll pull together a few more ideas and options that you'll need, but you'll hear the back of their head blow off. They won't believe how quickly you responded. But I also understand there's a side of distributors that says, look, I don't want them to know I can do this in a matter of seconds. So what you can do is send it to them later in that afternoon or the next day and let them think you spent the rest of the day on it. But the good news is you spent less than a minute on it. And again, it's about that return on time. So there is one other way that you can use this tool to your benefit. If you click on any item at any point in time or you zoom to a specific item that you were, maybe you pulled a number of products that are outside of Southern Plus's product offering, and you want to couple some of our items with it, you can go to a details page of any specific item that you were interested in, And just like anything, you can scroll through and see what other product colors is offered here. You can click on the one that you want to present. Let's say we want to present the orange one, and while that looks perfectly great, you might say, well, I love the orange, but I think they're going to want that. I know their branding guideline would not allow it, so let's show that in white. Black wouldn't look very good. So you might like it just like this. This is a live JPEG that I can right-click on, and I can copy and paste this into any other thing I want, whether it be a PowerPoint or Word document or the body of an email. I can even drag and drop it into a number of those items as well. If you needed a higher res image because you wanted your customer to be able to see the detail on any particular product, you just click on it and it'll open up a higher res image of that. You can use that one, right click on it as a live JPEG. Again, we try to make it as simple for you to interact and use our products as possible. You also might say, well, I don't just want the image or images. I want this information as well to travel with it. I want to be able to give them all that they need to make a buying decision. So you can come right below the image and click on this button that says snapshot. When you click on that, it says I want to include pricing. I can include item number, include your company information again, which we've already saved, and then say go. And then in a matter of seconds, it's going to create a one-page flyer with the image and all of the information that you want on it. And it still has your header at the top, date stamps it, does everything that you need. And whether you're sending one item or several items, you could attach these as attachments to an email, or you can print them out and put them in a portfolio with other products and walk in and present them to your customer. So again, I hope you'll find that to be a very useful and quick set of tools to use that I think can truly transform the amount of time you spend in preparing things for your customer. Well, I'll assume by the silence that I did a thorough job of explaining this. If I did not, or you have any questions about how to find something or how I did something, you can come to information. You can go to how-to instructions, and then all of the items that I just showed you, whether you're creating a single virtual, whether you're sending that sending a custom flyer, which I really didn't go through, I'll show you in a moment, and then whether you're sending a catalog or whether you're doing that virtual, uploading a logo to the website, it'll step you through page by page and click by click, so it should make it pretty simple for you to figure that out. If you did want to send flyers out, we have a whole host of flyers that we create that are seasonal, event specific, and you can literally click on any one of these that might be of interest to you or your clients or your niche that you might be selling to. You can upload just click on any one of them, upload your logo, and put in your contact information, and it's as if you created the flyer. And then also, if you are familiar with Zoom Catalog, we have a Zoom room. If you prefer to use a Zoom Catalog or you prefer to use a Zoom custom flyer, you have the ability to use our Zoom room to do all of that I've showed you. Unfortunately, the Zoom Catalog doesn't have the ability to upload a logo and show that on every single product. So I think you'll prefer to use the Catalog logo, but it's your choice. We thank you for your time and attention. We hope that this will excite you and show you some things that you didn't know Southern Plus could do. Again, I can lead you to water, I can't make you drink, but I can promise you that if you'll use these tools, it will free your time up so that you can spend more time with your family or go see more customers or whatever it is that you would do with your time if you had it. Again, I thank you so much for your time and attention, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.